Hello students, a very good evening. Let us continue the previous lecture. I have stopped with the construction of the plot or all other significant aspects of the plot we have seen, and this is the new um, the new point that Aristotle discusses in his Poetics, that is the relation of character and plot. Let us see that. So let me share my screen now. I hope you all can see my screen, and let us start this topic, that is the relation of character and plot. We have seen what is plot till now. So now we should know what is character and what is its relation to the plot. Okay. Actually, Aristotle says that plot is more important than character. And further, he said that there can be a tragedy without a character. So, this actually was considered as a very radical and controversial statement by many without interpreting it in a proper manner. The word character for Aristotle is not simply the dramatic personage, okay, or what you say, as you all know that a novel has characters or a drama has characters, or in while you watch movies you know that there are many characters, etc. So but Aristotle did not use this word character in that particular sense alone. So that is why we should understand what he means by character, okay. And as we are following the lectures of Humphrey House also, in the beginning of his lecture regarding the relation of character and plot, he says the terms like character, plot, and action should not be bandied in any language as fixities and definites. Okay, so to define a character, we should remember only one thing, that the word character is not having any definite meaning, and it may mean many things, or it may have many synonyms also. Okay, so let us not consider that even plot, action, and character, of course, are not having any fixed meanings, and they actually may have multiple meanings, and we have to go through that meanings. Actually, we should not consider that there is some elementary opposition between them. We should not consider character and plot as if they are opposite to each other, or action and plot are opposite to each other. And in fact, we should realize one more thing, that is character and action are inseparable. Okay, we cannot separate them. The character and action are very much inseparable according to Aristotle. And let us see how they are inseparable, and what Aristotle's meaning, in saying that plot is more important than character. To understand this and to understand how the character and action are inseparable, we have to know, few things which Aristotle, wrote in his book Nicomachean Ethics. That is book 1 and 2. Most importantly, Nicomachean Ethics, he brings out the definition of action, character, and some other words. Let us see how he defines character. So Aristotle's views on character. First, let us see. First, he says that we are not good or bad in character by nature. So, like naturally, I used to tell you many times that human beings are not good or bad by birth itself or by their nature itself. Okay, and Aristotle tries to distinguish between this character or nature in contrast to our physical capacities. The physical capacities, like you have the physical senses, as we have five senses of seeing, hearing, and other senses. Just like that, Aristotle says that our character is not like a physical capacity. See, he says here, um, the physical senses of seeing and hearing, for instance, are in us by nature. By birth we get them, and even if you exercise it or not, they are there. You have those capacities. We had the sense of sight before even we even saw. So before we started, because the formation of the embryo and how the fetus develops in the womb, etc. Even before you saw, you have this capacity of sight. And even before you heard, actually you have this capacity of hearing. And we did not acquire these senses by acts of seeing and hearing. Actually the physical capacities of seeing and hearing need not be acquired by seeing and by hearing. And here, if, to differentiate the physical capacity, the natural capacities of seeing and hearing, we have to take the capacity for physical action. Okay, and of course we can act in the sense that it is simply not the movement of our limbs, etc. The physical capacity of action is there, but Aristotle says that the physical capacity for action is ethically neutral or indifferent and does not involve character at all. So the physical capacity for acting, actually it does not have any ethical quality in that. Okay, virtues or vices are acquired only in so far as we have acted well or badly. So virtue is a good quality, as you know. Vice is a bad quality, as you know. And so how we acquire it, as if we act well, we will acquire virtue, and if we act bad, we will acquire vices. That is how Aristotle says. And further he says, we learn to become good or bad by acting well or ill, just as a builder learns to build a building. Okay, a builder learns to build by building. Okay, so Aristotle says that how will you become good or how will you become bad? He says simply, you will become good by acting good, and you will become bad by acting bad. As the builder, the mason, learns to build by building. This is the action. Mason's action is building, and he will learn building by building only. And by that, in the same way, we also will become good or bad by acting good or by acting bad. And that is how Aristotle says that by repeated actions, we acquire a habit. So if you keep on doing good things, naturally you will, it will, doing good becomes your habit. If you keep on doing bad things, doing bad becomes your habit or a bent of your character. That means naturally, if you are exposed to a good environment of bringing up, of growing up in the family or in the society, naturally you will also develop such a kind of quality in you. That's a good quality, and that becomes your habit. So thus, now you have to understand this. Qualities of character are legacies of past acts. So whatever is our quality of character, that depends upon our past acts. So character is formed by action. So a character, a good character or a bad character actually is formed by action. It is dependent on action. It is dependent on our actions, and its quality is decided by the virtue of action. Whether it is a good action or a bad action, etc. Naturally, that quality is decided by the virtue of the action itself, whether it is a good action or a bad action, etc. So Aristotle says that in real life, apart from drama, the character is subordinate to action. He says actually, for Aristotle, a tragedy is like life only. Okay, so that is why he says that not only in real life, but in a drama also, character is always subordinate to action, because by acting only you will acquire character. And secondly, he says that we do not become good or bad by just knowing what is good or bad. If you know what are the good qualities, from the childhood, you might be, listening to your elders or teachers telling you that this is good, doing this is bad, etc. Help the poor, or help the old people, or help the disabled people, etc., or differently able people, etc. These are all good. This is called as virtues. You will be trained, or you will be often told by others that you should do like this, you should do like this is good, this is bad, etc. So you know what is good and what is bad, but simply by knowing what is good or bad, you won't become a good or a bad person. I know, in other words, Aristotle wants to say that virtue is not knowledge. Actually, the Platonic and Socrates, Plato considered virtue is knowledge. What is good, by knowing what is good, that becomes knowledge. But Aristotle says that virtue is not knowledge. If you simply know that this is good, that is good, etc., it is not knowledge. It is only, the knowledge comes through action only for Aristotle. Further, he says that the guiding principle of ethics is not absolute good, but practical good. See, absolute good, about heaven, where absolute good prevails. But to be, what you say, in reality, none of us have gone to heaven and have seen how the absolute good prevails. But what we need on this earth is the practical good, and that is attainable as the end for man. So Aristotle says that this practical good and is there, and attaining that good is the end for man. That is the ultimate aim of every man, and this end is ultimately identified with happiness. Whatever you call as happiness, not in a very worldly manner, but a very philosophical manner. Aristotle says that end of every man is happiness. And happiness is not for one single man, but the happiness of all others. As in our dharma we say sarve jana sukhino bhavantu, that means all should be happy. So a collective happiness, or all people being happy, should be the end of any action. We have a means towards the action, and we have an end for the action. End is the desired goal, or the desired result that we expect when we do something, or when we are acting on something, when we are when we are performing some acts or actions. The end of those actions we always expect to be the happiness. That is what Aristotle also says. And he also says that in all ethical situations there is an element of desire. Of course, our actions are propelled, or our actions are initiated by an element of desire that stimulates the decision and determines the direction. You have a desire, and to fulfill that, you will take the decision, and you will act in a certain direction. So desire is behind our actions, according to Aristotle. And this is what actually Aristotle defines in the real life, why we act. We are actually influenced to act with a desire, and that desire is to achieve something which is the final end. It is in real life we act like this. Similarly, in a drama also, we will know the characters through what they say and do. So while watching a drama, okay, because all Greek dramas are staged, and the audience, while watching the characters, the characters here means the dramatic personage, they will try to know what they are only through what they speak and they do on the stage. In other words, they only exist as characters in what they say and do or act. So they exist in the minds of the audience only through their words and actions. Stillness will not reveal the character. Actually, Humphrey House provides a good example in his lectures for the stillness, that is the picture of the still picture of an athlete. If you look at a still picture of an athlete, you of course you will realize some things, like how his body is shaped, how muscular he is, what is his posture, etc. But in reality, you cannot know, you can't know whether this man will win the race or not, or he is having a strong heart to support his strong body or not, whether he can run faster than all others. That you may not be knowing. So stillness will not reveal the real character. Stillness is nothing but, if we don't act at all, you will not know your character also, unless you get some circumstances where you have to act in a certain direction with some decision. You will not understand your character also. So unless you see someone who is acting, unless you see someone who is acting in a particular circumstance, you will not understand his or her character. In the similar manner, we also cannot understand our character if we are still. So stillness will not reveal the character. What reveals the character is only action. So the characters in a drama will be known by audience only through what they say and do. And character for Aristotle does not merely mean dramatic personage. So here, actually, Aristotle says that character is not only a dramatic personage, but it means the ethical nature. So the ethical, what is ethical? It is actually, he says, if it is for the end of the action is happiness, and the happiness of not a minor group or a few individuals, or one individual, but it is the collective happiness. So the ethical nature here, the character, when is for Aristotle the character of the character, the character, the bent, the habit of the dramatic personage, the ethical nature of the dramatic personage. That is why when he says there can be a tragedy without character, he means those tragedies in which the dramatic personage don't exhibit character. When he stated like this, there can be tragedy without character, he means to say that there can be tragedies which of course show uh, characters, that means dramatic personages who will not have ethical nature. Okay, they don't exhibit any character. Further, tragedies without character for Aristotle are those which show the personages going through a change of fortune. Okay. Actually, for the tragedies without character, for Aristotle, are those which show the personages going through a change of fortune without revealing why. So there are some tragedies, as we have already discussed, all Greek tragedies are not great. All Greek tragedians are not great. Aristotle most of the times takes the examples of Sophocles, okay, and he tries to define what is a good tragedy and how a good plot should be, etc. Okay, that itself indicates that whatever Greek tragedies were there during his time, all tragedies were not such a great tragedies. Okay, some tragedies are, may not have character in the sense that they are not able to show the actions of their personages in a proper manner. And actually, tragedy is defined as the imitation of serious actions or noble actions, etc. So the serious action, the imitating of the serious action is not shown in a proper manner. That is why he calls the tragedies without character. And Aristotle also points out that character in the play is what reveals the moral purpose in the personages. If the character is the ethical nature, if you have that only, it will reveal the moral purpose. And character is shown in the choice of ends based on morals. Character is shown in the choice of ends. End is happiness. See, for example, let us say, take King Oedipus here. Sorry, the spelling came in a mistake. Spelling mistake is there. Okay, let us take King Oedipus. We know that King Oedipus actually, when the scene opens, the whole Thebe, the Thebans city is plague is suffering with plague and people are dying, and King Oedipus takes the decision to find out who is the cause behind the plague. And finally, when he comes to know that he is the man behind, he will not simply because he is a king, he will not simply avoid himself from getting punished, but he takes the punishment. It is the choice. Taking the punishment is the choice, and this choice is taken for the happiness of all the people in the kingdom. So here, King Oedipus shows the character. The character with a moral purpose is there, and the ethical nature. King, because he is king, he did not stop punishing himself. That shows the character of King Oedipus. So that is how you can say that Aristotle is telling that there can be tragedies without character. Maybe tragedies which are not able to show why the characters are acting in such and such a manner. The character, of course, is what helps to develop the plot also. Any moral situation depicted in a Greek tragedy is certainly based on social factors. As I have told you, King Oedipus. Actually, King Oedipus took the punishment not to punish himself, but also to bring out the happiness to all the citizens of Theban city. So, Thebes. So, that is where his ethical nature comes out. So that is how actually Sophocles has written the tragedy in such a great manner that you will see Oedipus in action, and we will realize the real character of King Oedipus in his actions and in whatever he says. So Aristotle says that character and plot are related to each other, and they are connected by thought, facts, and circumstances which are created by the poet. See, the character of a tragedy, the character of the dramatic personage is more important in a tragedy, so that an effective plot can be created by the writer or the dramatist. So this is what in Aristotle's view, the relation between the character and plot. So remember, dear all, character here means not simply the dramatic personage, but the character, the what you say, the bent of a character or the habit or actions of the dramatic personage, which are very much necessary to develop a good plot. So let me stop sharing my screen. I hope I made clear what character is and what how it is related to plot. In constructing a good plot, a good character on the dramatic personage is very important. That is what we should realize according to Aristotle. Have a good time.